What's up, niche gaming enthusiasts? This is Brandon Arcelli and Michael
Jordan.
We're here with.
That up for the first time on the round.
We're
roll with it.
Okay.
We keep it good.
We're here with Matthew Mercer.
Matthew's the voice of Leon Kennedy in Resident Evil Vendetta.
Our time starts now. I want revenge.
So exciting. And Erin Cahill.
Hi.
So anyway, so we're going to talk about the upcoming movie. We're really excited. It looks really cool. We had the article for it up the moment it was like announced.
Oh, awesome.
Like the Japanese press like announced it before the American press, and we had the article up for it. So yeah. So like we had a really good response for it. I think I wanted to just kind of open it up. Like, how do you guys feel about like stepping into the roles of like Leon again, and how you felt about the movie overall? Just as like kind of like as like from the get-go.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I was a fan of Leon before I ever took up the role, and so when I took on the mantle initially, it was wonderful, but it was also a huge responsibility. A character that had already been so well established and loved in the community. You know the internet's waiting to just reach out and stab you until you die. So I was like, don't mess this up. And so ever since then, every role has been just I've come out with so much love and respect and appreciation for the previous performances, while also trying to make something that's wholly my own in the character. And so as his evolution and storyline continues, we get to see his recent arc from the games. You know, he started the fresh-eyed cop on his first day in the job, just shit explodes. Yeah. And then you see him in 4, where he's a little more important, a little more cocksure and, quippy. Then you get to like 6 and Damnation, and now Vendetta, where he's now starting to really feel the repercussions of these attacks, and beginning to wonder if every victory he makes really makes a difference, if this continues to happen over and over again. And so that PTSD, that survivor's guilt, that kind of really wondering if good people can make a difference really kind of comes into play in Vendetta, and you get to see that arc in him, which I really enjoyed being able to flesh out.
Awesome. And let's throw it over. Question for you. Now, this is a whole new deal for you, right? Yeah. This is kind of your big wide-eyed intro into this gaming world and also the film kind of crossover world. What has that experience been like?
Well, I love that question. I did Call of Duty a few years ago, and that was fun, but I didn't get immersed in it like I did with this. And so I am having the most wonderful time. Matt knows. I'm like such a dork. I'm like so excited about everything, and I'm looking around. I can barely focus right now. There's so much to see.
A lot of sensory.
And then it's actually true. A couple times he's been like, "Come on." I'm like, "Oh my God, thank you." Yeah, and it's just I'm having so much fun doing press, meeting the fans, getting to hang out with Matt, who's Matt Mercer, and
a lot of experience on this chat.
Yeah, and so humble and kind and lovely, and I'm just thrilled. I should be playing it cooler. I keep saying that. I'm like, I'm such a dork, so I'm so glad. Thank you.
I kind of want to do a follow-up. Was there pressure going into Rebecca, the role of Rebecca? Because she's been in the series for a long time.
Yeah, she's been around about 20 years, and the last time the fans saw her, I knew she was in her late teens, and now you see her again as an adult and as a woman, and you kind of get like to see who she's become and who she is becoming. And funny enough, I did not know much about Rebecca, or dare I say really anything, until after I got the part. So I did not feel pressure, luckily. I didn't come into a history of Leon Kennedy and knowing, and so I feel lucky in that now I feel a little pressure. I'm like, I hope people like what I did.
Well, that's the thing, is that video game fans tend to be the most relentless, with that. And that actually kind of brings it back to you. So you've had all this experience and kind of just so many different roles. What advice have you imparted over?
Do good work, and don't let the community get you down. and know that as long as you're honest and trying your best, the community will embrace you. This I have noticed, and interface with them. That's the thing. While we're actors, and sometimes there's this tendency to put performers on a pedestal or on this separate plane, we're human beings that have our own insecurities and our day-to-day, we have to go buy bread and get frustrated that we have a flat tire. We have our own trials and tribulations, and to me, all of what I try and do is humanize us to the community, because I'm just a guy who loves playing video games and D&D, and occasionally, after years of working hard, gets to voice a cool character. And so, that humanizing element, I think, is important to not only engage the community, but to remind them that you're also a person, and that you're all just trying to do good work and enjoy things together.
I'm actually really curious, because Resident Evil is known for its kind of super campy, whether it was intentional or not, dialogue, and so when you guys go into these characters, and you're given these lines, and you're just what is your initial reaction? Are you like, oh, come on, or do you have fun with it? Do you kind of roll with it, You
have to have fun with it. I mean, as the franchise has evolved and it's matured, it does take itself seriously in a lot of ways, and there are a lot of really intense cinematic moments that you play like you would a very, natural on-camera read and get that intensity and honesty across. But you also have to play up the quips and the one-liners, because, like you said, that's part of the franchise. So it's a balance of taking the serious moments seriously and acknowledging when it's meant to be campy and owning it when it's campy, because that's a gift. We don't get that very often, intentional, good campy material. So you gotta relish it when it comes your way.
Well, actually, here, let's. So, is there any particular, not spoiling anything, one line maybe that you had some experience with this that we might get to enjoy coming up?
Oh, where it's campy but still great. I want to say you got to watch and find out. For me, anyway, because because there's so many nods to things in the Resident Evil history that I think fans are going to be really excited. I didn't know even as much as I know now, and I still was like, oh, that's cool. They brought back that, or they mentioned that, or So I can't wait for everybody to see it.
No spoilers on that?
No spoilers. But I will say that hold on. I can't there.
We're on camera now.
Okay, yeah. There is something you should see with Matt's character. I'll just say the dogs. Remember the dogs? Oh, it's so awesome. So that's I keep.
So that's a thing to look out for. Do you want to get into some of the user questions that we had going on?
Yeah, we actually.
Did you say Easter questions?
User question. We have it. User, yes.
What if you have Easter questions? I'm totally down for that too.
Is there zombie bunnies? Is there?
Well, the Easter Resident Evil DLC. It's less of an egg hunt and more of a head hunt. But at least it's colorful.
Well, I think Resident Evil is probably one of the only series that could probably pull something like that off.
Well, apparently Fire Emblem Heroes recently had their Easter Crom costume, so at this point, anything thematic could work.
So, at random.
So, I think this is a really good question. So, did you personally like Resident Evil 7, coming from how your role in 6 is Leon? And how do you feel about the franchise moving forward? Do you feel like they're going totally different, or are they might come back to Leon in some way, or if wink wink nudge nudge?
I love 7. I think as a person that grew up with the franchise, and while I enjoyed a lot of the narrative elements of 6, I felt that they had begun to push on such a global scale and on such a high-end action crutch that it began to feel less like the Resident Evil that we all were hoping to try for. So 7 to me was a sign that Capcom had listened to those and began to return to the series' roots. So while it didn't include any of the mainstay characters, it was kind of nice to have something fresh and totally different. Would I like to see that style continue and possibly weave in some of the other classic characters? Heck yeah. I jump at the chance to play Leon because I love the character so much. But I do love that they're going in this new direction that's kind of more harkening back to what made it so popular at the get-go. So I hope to see more of that trend going forward. I think Vendetta kind of rides that line of playing in the fun, over-the-top action sequences, but still keeping a lot of the cool survival horror elements like that. So I'd love them to keep pushing that direction. I love it. I love it for the sense of isolation. To me, Resident Evil means, being in a dark house not knowing what's behind that door with 6 bullets in your pocket and nothing else. And that to me is what really the essence of it is.
Did both of you actually sit down, take some time together to kind of like play that and see how you would react to maybe each other's, or like jump, you know what I mean?
No, we haven't done that, but we should.
I do.
You should play Resident Evil 7.
Yes, please. You have to help.
I could arrange that during E3. Put you in one of those the dark rooms over there. We can get the system set up if you want. But yeah, but I do have the VR too. I could bring that over. You want to grab some more of the user questions?
Well, I know one of them I thought was we have to do like one of the joke questions, obviously. How does Leon keep his hair so fabulous? And of course, with your hair being so fabulous, the fans are dying to know.
Leon through sheer force of will. When you're that charismatic, it just naturally forms that way. Me, I just make sure to take it off at night before I go to sleep and wake up in the morning and pull it off and reattach it. So that's the difference.
I honestly don't know how to respond to that one. Let's do we have let's do a neutral question on here. Let's see what they.
A neutral? Okay. I think most of them are about Leon. Sadly, Leon is like a huge fan favorite.
Yeah, he is a fan favorite. Leon and Matt Mercer, so I get it. I'm like,
Yeah, well, that's the thing is now you have a chance to kind of push up into that same arena and go, hey, I'm here. We got to pay attention to me now. And we're gonna do some stuff. So.
Like Matt said earlier, I'm just happy to meet the fans and be interacting with the fans and show them who I am versus Rebecca, but also what I think of Rebecca. And I'm just happy to be here. So
I think this would be a good question for both of you guys. So I know your experience with the franchise is more limited, but I'm curious how you feel about how Vendetta compares to the games. We talked about it a bit, but do you feel like it really kind of recaptures that old feeling where it's survival horror, but it is going over the top?
I really echo what Matt said. This movie in particular has so many elements of what we loved about Resident Evil. That scary, like the tension, but also amazing action sequences. That how did they choreograph it? How did they do it? How did they animate it? Because it's all. A lot of it was motion capture, all of it. So I think this movie really beautifully walks the line. We said earlier, we felt very satisfied by this movie. As fans, you feel satisfied, which we hope, everybody feels that way.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Do we want to, I was going to say, another question that maybe he wouldn't be seeing coming at all.
Oh, well, I mentioned that a fan said
you missed you have a credit on the game. You missed that joke, but Persona 5.
Oh, there we go.
You didn't see it coming.
Anyway, there we go. There we go.
So, a lot of these are kind of joke questions, unfortunately.
Look at all you see. He's just scrolling through Those were all within the 5 minutes that they were all like, oh my god, let's start asking.
Oh geez. That one. Yeah.
It's a whole lot of just very, very silly people asking very silly questions, but all fans.
That's a great
so
question.
We had a fan ask, why isn't Leon in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
Yeah, why? Why isn't he Capcom?
Why?
You put a lot of other characters in your fighting games, and as a fighting game fan and an old school tournament Street Fighter, I would greatly appreciate Leon being in one of the Marvel vs. Capcom games. That would be awesome. Don't you think so, Internet?
Maybe he'll be revealed. Hopefully.
DLC.
Awesome.
We're just gonna force them to start doing DLC from our whims.
Game developers love when they're forced to do things.
Oh yes, they love it. But I want to close this out. We are running a little bit over time. Thank you guys so much. It's awesome to talk to you both. Wealth of experience, new and old. Not old and that came out wrong. Just throwing out a disc on that one. But so Michael Jordan, Brandon Rosselli, obviously we are saying sayonara for today. Thank you guys so much, and we can't wait to watch the film. It's great.